We are very pleased to announce our results year ending 30th of April 2021. We have met all our key market expectation, and slightly ahead in revenue, EBITDA, and in cash. Just to remind ourselves, we entered this fiscal year in the midst of the very first wave of this pandemic in May 2020, where there was huge amount of disruption all around the world, and we as a business as well was disrupted. But as we came towards the end of the first half of the fiscal year, we started to see some indication of our markets starting to open up and getting towards normality, and that really carried through into the second half of the year, which has really strongly carried into this fiscal year. We have ended the financial year well and strong, and we have entered this financial year with a very good visibility and are very confident of delivering the expectation that is set by the analysts in the market of a 50% growth year. There has been tremendous progress made in the biosecurity part of the business. There are two distinct development and programs running within that area of the business. One is the broad spectrum pathogen detection system, which is entirely funded by the US Department of Defense agency, DARPA. We announced a contract back in May 2020 of $5.2 million, which built on an existing contract of $2 million that was placed before. And very recently, in this early part of the fiscal year, we have announced another $5.9 million increase to that contract, which will run till 2022. It's being designed for detection of all viruses and all bacteria in open air, really aimed at protecting critical infrastructures and cities against the threat of dirty bombs. The second program that is being running is more focused on detection of airborne COVID-19, and that has been funded by Innovate UK program. This is a system that we have developed over the last few months, which is really a focused system for particularly detection of COVID-19 and all its mutants that exist today. This system has now been piloted in several sites. What we are doing is really building up a use case model for each of those settings, such as a school, a primary school or a secondary school, airports, public spaces. And what that is giving us is a direct understanding of customer need and how customers will use those systems. And the feedback has been extremely good, and we are making real progress, and further pilots are planned over the next few weeks and months. In parallel, the detection protocol has been independently tested and verified by Integrated COVID Hub, which is part of the Newcastle upon Tyne NHS hospital, and that the protocol is now proven to have similar level of efficacy of a PCR test. So the COVID-19 detection system, which is a fully automatic detection system for airborne COVIDs, is very accurate, works autonomously, does not need any human intervention or on any operator, and can present results every 30 minutes while sitting on a corner of a room or in an airport lobby or in a shopping mall or a theater. What we are the next steps for in that is really to articulate the commercial plans and determine the channels to the market, which are being developed at the moment. We have a productization or a manufacturing partner already on board, and we will be going through a series of commercialization steps, and as and when those becomes announceable, we will be coming back and updating the market in that area. And we expect to see some really good and exciting developments in this market over the next months and year. In our nuclear part of the business, of course, we have seen increased investment from governments both in the UK and US, and number of procurement programs that are being initiated right now, which are now active. Through the year, we announced various contracts, but importantly, we launched two new products, where the D5, which is a fully ruggedized, all-in-one radioisotope detection system. It's the world's lightest, smallest identification system for nuclear isotopes. Also, on the other hand, we launched the D3PRD, which is a dosimeter based on the D3S family, which was originally designed for the DARPA program, or the citywide protection system that is active today in New York and has been sold in over 25 countries. What we are seeing as the world is again getting back to normality, that the threats of terrorism hasn't gone away. As a result, governments around the world are putting budgets aside. If you just take the example of the UK government, in the last spending review, the UK government announced a total spend plan of £329 million in the area of radiation detection and nuclear detection. In the area of defence, the UK government will be spending the highest amount since the Cold War, and that trend is really also being observed in United States and around the world. So the potential for our markets in this area, where we have got unique, really well differentiated products, is substantial, and we are going to start to see real tangible news flow coming through over the coming months, and we expect strong growth in this sector. It's great to see the aviation sector starting to open up again. But ultimately, this will be one of those sectors which will take the longest to really recover among our core markets. But over the last 12 months, what we have been doing is, firstly, we completed a very successful program with the US Department of Homeland Security in delivering a technology platform based on cadmium zinc telluride, which will aid earlier detection of explosives in current baggage screening systems. We are working with 3 different partners at the moment, where our module, CZT-based modules, are getting incorporated and designed into baggage screening system, which really is the path where we will be seeing sustained growth over the coming years as this industry again gets back to its normality. The medical imaging market is getting back to normality. We are seeing regular products being shipped out of our factory month on month. This is, just to remind ourselves, was one of the markets where there was very little demand at the beginning of the pandemic, when all of the hospital resources were being really focused on treating COVID patients and really COVID-related issues. What we have seen from the end of the first half, and particularly throughout the second half and into this new fiscal year, is the trend of our customers installing systems globally. And as a result, the contracts that are already in place are being called off on a very regular basis. If we take the example of the $58.1 million contract that we signed back in 2019, we are seeing month-on-month shipment going on, and as a result, we are starting to see real growth coming through. But also our engagement with the wider medical imaging community and the customer base there, where CZT is really identified as the next generation of detectors in modalities like SPECT for early detection of cancer, in modalities like CT for detection of various different diseases. Those conversations are really going at pace, and we are starting to see that appetite and that real drive to adopt CZT into advanced medical systems back to those pre-pandemic days, and we are going to see the adoption of CZT increase in the coming year. As the world is emerging from the pandemic, it is very evident that the key growth drivers in our core markets hasn't really gone away. In fact, early detection of cancer, protection of cities against nuclear terrorism, detection of explosives in airports, and of course, the new emerging threats with biopathogens remains extremely strong. And our products in each of those areas solves real problems that exist today and can aid better detection in medical imaging, better identification of nuclear sources in nuclear detection, and of course, pathogen detection, airborne pathogen detection in a way that has never been done before. So the growth drivers in each of those markets are very well aligned to where our strength lies. We have seen our customer base returning, particularly in the medical imaging, and also emerge in the emerging market of bioterrorism. But we are also witnessing some very large spends and spend plans in our nuclear markets. Our pipeline remains strong, and as a result, we are very confident of delivering growth over the next 12 and 24 months. Just as a reminder, this fiscal year, the market expectation, the analyst expectation is a 50% growth year on year from last year, and we remain very confident based on the pipeline and the opportunities that we already have with a fantastic revenue visibility as we have entered this year.